All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Monte Carlo, day 2. Still first round. And today's the day where we get a lot of big names coming back, and they're playing. A lot of seeds playing. Already had a couple of matches completed. Hashanov lost to Rinderknecht, and Rublev got a 3-set win, but he did leave injured, so we'll see whether or not that is a problem. And we're watching Wawrinka taking on Baez. Winner plays Alcaraz, so this is there's a bit of a scouting match as well to sort of get an idea of if whether or not Alcaraz has anything to fear. Obviously, Wawrinka, crowd favorite. Baez, very good clay quarter. He's had a very good season on clay already this season, so in February. So, yeah. Let's see what happens. And then we've got Fonseca taking on Diallo. Winner will play Rinderknecht. So that's happening a little bit later. But how are we doing, chat? Also, Tsitsipas Cerundolo is happening today. So yeah, lots going on today. Rinderknecht, best ever clay win today. Was it really? Okay. Nice. Also, you've got Echeverry, Dimitrov, Atman, and Quinn all in this section as well. Tiafoe out, so I don't know. I feel like Tiafoe out, Quinn in is not like a downgrade on clay. So we'll see what's up. I've got Baez as an alternate on my team. Oh, okay. I thought about getting Baez and Wawrinka at some stuff, but I didn't get either of them. But I did think about it. But then then they had to play Alcaraz, so. French crowd heavily behind Stan. Yep, this will be a very pro-Stan crowd for sure. And yeah, there's plenty of other matches going on at the moment as well. We'll keep an eye on as well. Bergs Manarino. Lehechka's playing Nava, which I'm very interested to see because Lehechka is coming off that Miami run. And I don't know. Is he going to be able to back it up? We'll find out. Demon lost in the dubs? Okay. But he's going to play Norrie anyway, so. Him and Norrie. He lost in the doubles with Norrie. Now he's going to try and beat Norrie. All right, they're just warming up. This should be an interesting clash. And should be a close match too. Should be. Wawrinka close straight set, you reckon? Okay. Well, Stan won this tournament denying Federer of a golden Masters back in the day. This is his only 1,000 title. Hey, DJ, thank you for the 39 months. Gil was saying only one player has ever won Miami and then won Monte Carlo. I'll give you 3 guesses who that was. One player has won Miami and Monte Carlo. Well, it's not Rafa. It's not Roger. It's got to be Novak. Why didn't you give me 3 guesses? Why? Like, has to be Novak. Because Rafa never won Miami. Federer never won. Unless it's something like Rios. Like, it could be like that. If it's not Novak, it's got to be like Rios or somebody else. By the way, these two played once before. 1-0 to Baez. He won a straight sets match a couple of years ago. Sorry, not a couple of years ago. A couple of months ago on the hard courts of the United Cup at the start of the year. So they did play this season. 7-5, 6-4 in favor of Baez when Switzerland versus Argentina. Yeah, Djokovic. What? Yeah, that was the year that Djokovic didn't lose a match until the French Open, right? That was the greatest start to a season ever. All right. Let's see if Baez can disappoint this crowd. I guess we want to see Alcaraz Stan, right? But is Baez going to be a tougher match for Alcaraz? I don't know. All right, they're just showing all the fancy parts of Monte Carlo and Monaco. The South American guys are good on clay. Oh, yeah, they are. And they've all had a head start because in February they all went home and they all played on the clay courts of South America. So all these guys have a leg up on the competition. I actually wrote a list, pardon me, of the Golden Swing, who actually won the Golden Swing. So the players that were best at in February when they played in Buenos Aires, Rio, and Santiago. Echeverry, he won Rio, did well in Buenos Aires. Darderi, he won Santiago and lost in the final of Buenos Aires. He got the second most ranking points for that swing. And then you got Tabilo, who came runner-up in Rio, but did well, I think, a couple of quarterfinals. He made in the other two. You had Cerundolo, Capriva, Bouze, Baez, and also Hanfman and Martinez. So all those guys, I know Capriva and Bouze lost in the qualies, but Tabilo won yesterday. Obviously, Darderi, he's great on European clay too. We saw that last year. Echeverry, Cerundolo, Baez, all these guys have been playing multiple. They've already played multiple tournaments on clay, and that's not including last week, which I'm guessing some of them played last week as well, right? And last week was a clay court week. So yeah. So those names are. It's 40 love, by the way. Stan is already kicking ass. Baez lost second round last week over in Bucharest. Oh, pardon me. As Stan wins the first game, 1-love in this first set. Darderi lost in the semis last week. I tell you, Darderi, I kind of wish I had him in my team. I might have to get him next week somehow. But yeah, Darderi, he's someone that you should definitely be having. Considering if you're putting him in, if you don't have him in your team, you should consider, because he is very consistent on the clay. And if he gets a decent draw, he could make like a quarterfinal of the French. 1-love for Wawrinka. The return goes to forehand Baez. Forehand from Stan. And to the forehand Baez. A Stan forehand on the stretch. Baez into the backhand slice of Stan. Baez backhand to the backhand of Stan, who goes up the line. Forehand from Baez. Stan gets it back into the backhand of Baez. Stan with the slice. Baez with a drop shot. Stan gets it. And Baez with the backhand down the line. Winner. Beautiful rally. That is clay court tennis. 15-love. I'm having Popper in my team. He'll play tomorrow. Uh, 15-love. There's a return from Stan, the backhand of Baez. Stan with the backhand into the slice of Baez. Into the corner, Stan, who smacks it down the line for a winner. 15-all. All. As Baez in the net, 15-30. 15-30. As a default second serve. Serving the backhand of Stan. Stan hits it long. 30-all. As the backhand return goes the net by Stan. And it's 40-30. Why is it only that a few people have single-handed backhands? Because two-handed backhands are just a safer shot. All right, 1-all. Baez holds. 1-1. All right, back to Wawrinka. What's the farthest that Stan's made it here? He won this tournament back in like 2015 or something. 2016? 2014? He won this tournament. He beat Federer in the final. As a backhand from Wawrinka in the net. And it's love 15. There you go. I knew I was going to get there eventually. Yeah, beat Roger in the final, denying Federer of the Golden Masters. Federer was up a set, and then it was a second set tiebreak before Stan came back. Stan did beat Ferrer. He took out Cilic. This is pre-Grand Slam Cilic, though. And he also took out Raonic along the way. And then beat Federer. Federer took out Djokovic in the semis and Tsonga in the quarters. So Federer had a good run as well. But yeah, Stan's one and only 1,000. He did make the final of a bunch, but he's one and only win at a 1,000. He did make the Madrid final the year before. And then made the Indian Wells final in 2017. Also made the Rome Open final back in 2008. Lost to Djokovic. So that was 6 years earlier. So even way before Stan was anybody of note, he made the final of a 1,000 on clay. He beat Ferrero, Murray, Safin, Blake, Roddick, and then lost to Djokovic in 3. So, I mean, even in 2008, Stan was a problem for Novak. 30-all. As a return goes in the net by Baez, 40-30 Stan. There can't be too many players that have won more slams than 1,000 events. True. He might be one of the only ones. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else who's won more slams than 1,000s. All right. Osaka's another one. She's got 4 slams and only, I think, 2 1,000s. So, Gaudio, yeah, okay. Okay, if somebody wins 1 slam and 0 1,000s, okay. Yeah, okay, fair enough. All right. Stan holds. Yeah, okay. Let's just name all the players that have won one slam. All right. Federer won Rome. He beat. Didn't he like smoke Rafa in one of those finals? I'm pretty sure like 2000. I want to say 2007. He beat Rafa like real easily, which was so out of pocket because he never beat Rafa on clay. 2000 or maybe it was 2006. No, when was it? I know he beat Rafa. Maybe I'm thinking Madrid. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he won Rome. Oh, maybe he didn't. What am I thinking of? I'm sure Federer won Rome. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking Madrid. Or Hamburg. Oh, it was Hamburg. Hamburg is what I'm thinking of. The Lost Masters. Yeah, he beat Rafa like 4-4 or something like that. Yeah, okay. I'm thinking of 2007. Oh, he bageled Rafa. 6-love in the third, and then Rafa's like, all right. By the way, Hewitt almost beat Rafa in the semis. Love that. Yeah, and then Rafa in 2007, Roland Garros was like, you're not going to win this though. All right, 15-love. Stan with a lovely winner, 15. Oh, yeah, Hamburg used to be a 1,000 title. Yeah, Rafa took that personal. I don't think Rafa lost to Roger on clay ever again. 15. Oh. As Baez serves fault second serve. As the return goes in the backhand of Baez, backhand up from Stan. Into the backhand of Baez. The Stan backhand again, the backhand of Baez. Stan again with the backhand from Baez. Stan back up the line. Baez with the forehand into the forehand of Stan. Baez backhand slice in the net. And it's 15-30. 15-30. What do I make of this new era of tennis? I think it's good. As the return goes out by Wawrinka, 30-all. Yeah, I feel like we're in a little bit of like... It's interesting to look back and you go, okay, well, there was, serve and volley tennis was the dominant way to play, right, in the start of the open era. And then there was players that did the baseline game. As Stan comes in, puts it away, and it's 30-40. Borg and Connors was good from baseline. And then we got to like the 90s. Agassi was obviously came around and he showed how like you can be like a really aggressive baseline. You don't have to just like rally. You can come in and just really, and Lendl as well, right? And Becker, right? They showed how power can be used on the baseline and how dangerous coming to the net can be. And then in the early 2000s, when all the courts started slowing down and the baseliners became king and the serve volley players, started to fade out. And then it was all about long rallies, right? And athleticism. And besides Federer, Djokovic and Nadal, they were showing how physical you could play. And now we're kind of going into that. It feels like we're going into that kind of more, okay, well, you guys have stood on the baseline and you want to stand back and you want to be a brick wall. We've got these guys that are coming in with sledgehammers and trying to break those brick walls, right? As Wawrinka gets another break point advantage, like kind of feels, that Medvedev-Zverev generation, and I've said it many times, right? Medvedev-Zverev, that generation, we're learning from Nadal and Djokovic of like, okay, well, that's how you have to win. To win tennis matches, you have to play like that. Nobody was trying to play like Federer because that was impossible, right? But then, as we get a 4-4 rally, Wawrinka gets a break. And Stan obviously, he has a sledgehammer and he was breaking through Djokovic at times. But to be successful, you had to, the best players at the time, Nadal and Djokovic, like that was the game you had to try and play to be successful. But now you get Alcaraz come along and show that, hey, you know what? You can actually kind of play like Roger a little bit and come to the net and volley and, have an all-round game which can beat that brick wall style, drop shots and all that. Not all the time, right? Medvedev obviously proved that. But then that sort of style has become more of a thing. And now Alcaraz and that generation are all more about being aggressive and trying to hit winners and, being more proactive rather than just rallying from the baseline and trying to, outlast their opponents, right? So you've got, that's where Lehecka comes in. That's where Rune comes in. You've got, Fonseca coming through, right? These really big hitting, almost reckless players that are just hitting the ball so hard, but also playing so aggressively, but also playing, wanting to come to the net. Whereas if you look at the guys like Fritz and Zverev and Medvedev, those guys don't want to come to the net. That's not what they want to do. They can. They can go to the net. It's not like they can't play. Zverev can volley. Fritz can volley, right? Medvedev, he'll volley if he has to. But the guys from now are like, they're looking to come to the net. They're looking to finish the point. They want to, they want to win points. They don't want to just wait for you to lose, right? So that's interesting. And then, what's going to come from that is, a lot of players are going to replicate Alcaraz because that's the guy who's winning everything at the moment. That's the guy you got to beat. That's the guy you got to try and match, right? So, and Sinner as well, obviously. But it'll be interesting to see because it always goes, tennis will always go in in waves, right? Players will play this style that will succeed for a while, and then a new generation will come up with some new answers to combat that. And then, then another, like Leighton Hewitt showed that, a generation, he was one of the first of the generation that was able to show that the serve volleyers, were vulnerable, right? It wasn't in the 90s, serve and volley was king, with the exceptions of, a few players. But then you look at, Leighton, he could volley, but he never came to the net. Nalbandian, right? Even Roddick, he didn't really come to the net. It's, and then you got Rafa come along, then Djokovic, and then, it kind of evolved. And then you get the counter to that being, guys that come to the net and show that, okay, I can rally with you, but I can also drop shot and I can finish points at the net if I want. And, if you want to stand back and rally, that's fine, but you're going to have to really, move. And then we'll find out what happened. Like, how do you beat that style in the future? What's going to change, Be interesting. But I like the style that we're playing at the moment. I think it's really it kind of feels a little bit like how Steph Curry came in, right? And you had everyone shooting threes. That was, okay, back in, the big man dunking was a thing, maybe before this, or guys like Kobe and, those kind of and Michael and stuff, doing a bit more of an all-round, they could kind of shoot from anywhere. But then you had Curry coming in and just shooting threes and getting massive amount of points. Kind of feels like we're in that era of tennis where everybody wants to try and hit the craziest shot and play the craziest style and entertain, right? Rather than it just being a bit of a grind. So it's fun. I think tennis right now is really, really fun, really entertaining. It's fun to watch. I want to see a pure serve volley player like Rafter. Yeah, I don't know if is there a way to do that though? Is there a way? Maybe, you know what though? Maybe what ends up happening is, these guys that are playing way more proactive and way more aggressive, maybe there is room for serve volleys to come in now and do well in this era. Whereas, maybe serve volleys when there was more of a baseline game, and it was a rally, more about rallying than it was about, maybe there is room for serve volleying tennis now. I know it's not going to be easy because, the ball spins so quickly, but maybe there is opportunity for a serve volley style to come back in this sort of generation. You need to have a massive serve, though. I feel like if you don't have a big serve volley tennis will not work against Alcaraz and Sinner. But I tell you, if you can, maybe a serve and volley tactic might be the solution to beating Alcaraz or Sinner, or at least attempting to beat them. All right, that'd be fun though. I'd love to see like a group of serve volleyers come up and like have a bunch of pure serve volleyers come in. It'd be great. 15-hole. Yeah, Rinderknech Nesh. I mean, he pushed Alcaraz a few times. He's kind of got that little bit of that style. So who knows? Maybe that's the solution. 4-1 by the way. Stan's dominating. As we return now to the front of Baez. Baez hits a winner down the line and it's 30-15. As we default second serve. As Baez hits a drop shot winner. It's 40-15. As the return goes out by Stan, and it's 4-2. Wawrinka. Rinderknech was coming to the net constantly today. Okay, there you go. All right, 4-2. Wawrinka serving. As the return goes back into Wawrinka. Backhand now from Baez. Into the backhand of Stan as Baez goes again. The backhand of Stan to the backhand of Baez. Stan with the backhand into the backhand of Baez again. They're just going back into backhand. Stan hits a wide, love 15. With the exception of Ben, none of the other dad, son as coach are performing to their best. Tsitsipas, Zverev are examples. Wrong. Just wrong. Rude. By the way, Zverev is number 3 in the world. What do you mean he's not performing at his best? He's literally the 3rd best player on the planet. Love 15. As the backhand return goes the backhand of Wawrinka. Backhand to backhand rally with Stan. And Stan hits it long. Love 30. Love 30. I think the only person out of that group is Tsitsipas is underperforming. The other 3 are doing just fine. So besides Shelton, but also, no, not just besides Shelton. The father-son combos are doing just fine. 4-4 rally. As Baez puts up the forehand long, and it's 15-30. Actually considers Zverev the best father-son combo ever. I can't think of another. Like maybe there's one back in the day that might have been. 15-30. Serve to the backhand of Baez. Wawrinka backhand to the backhand of Baez. Into the backhand of Wawrinka. Baez with a forehand. Again to the backhand of Stan. Stan hits it long. We'll break back points. 15-40. 15-40. Stan serves a fault. Second serve. As the return goes in the backhand of Wawrinka. Backhand out from Baez. And to the backhand of Stan. Baez backhand. Again to the backhand of Stan as Baez hits the forehand inside out. Stan with a slice. As Baez forehand goes wide. 30-40. Agassi was coached by his dad. Yeah, but not... He was, but not... Like, his dad wasn't his professional coach. Bollettieri was, right? I think we're talking, like, as an adult. 30-40. As the backhand return goes to the backhand of Wawrinka. Forehand out from Baez. And Stan goes into the backhand of Baez. Into the backhand of Stan sliced. Baez backhand again. Stan with the backhand slice again. Baez slices it back. They go backhand to backhand. Stan takes over with another slice though. And we get a backhand to backhand rally again. As Baez just defending well. Stan with the backhand again. They're just going backhand to backhand. As Baez on the stretch. Stan backhand in the net. There's the break. Just outlast Stan in that rally. Good rally from Baez. The backhand serve. All right. What does Stan have against America? Probably just didn't want to play the Sunshine Double. Also, they probably, I don't know, maybe they didn't want to give him a wild card. So, do we know when Stan's retiring? Or has he just said, I'm retiring this year? Has he said when? Because I think we've all just assumed that it's going to be at the end of the year. Do we know that it's going to be in November? Or could it be at Roland Garros? Because maybe that's why he didn't play the Sunshine Double. Because he's focusing on clay. Everyone's saying, yeah, like, see, this is the thing, right? Everyone's saying it probably is in Switzerland. We don't know that, though. Like, he hasn't said that, right? He hasn't said, yeah, I'm retiring in Basel, right? Because he could retire at Roland Garros. Because that's, like, basically his second home. Okay, so the answer is no, he has not told us, because everybody's guessing. Probably this, probably that, maybe this. Okay, so nobody knows. He hasn't said anything. But yeah, it won't be Roland Garros. He said 2026 is his last season, meaning the whole year. Does it, though? I feel like we should not be surprised. We should all be prepared. Like, don't assume, right? He said 2026 is his last season. Doesn't mean that he plays the entire year. That doesn't mean he doesn't play the whole year. He probably, we're just guessing. Did he say the end of the season? Is it he retired? Like, again, has he said anything? He might retire at Roland Garros. Like what Fanini did. He retired at Wimbledon just randomly. He goes, I played a 5-setter against Alcaraz. I'm out. Stan probably, if he plays let's say he plays third round Alcaraz, plays a 5-setter at Roland Garros, he might say that's enough. I did a good job. That's enough. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if he retires at Roland Garros. 15 love. Like Rafa, right? Rafa didn't play the entire year. He didn't play up until the end of the season. He retired. Did he retire the Olympics? When did Rafa retire? Deb? What tournament did Rafa say goodbye? He didn't retire at the end of the season. 30 love. Rafa retired at the Olympics. Okay. Oh, Davis Cup. Actually, no, you're right. Yes, Deb. He did Davis Cup. I totally forgot about that. I forgot it was Davis Cup. They weren't supposed to lose to Netherlands. That's why. It was Davis Cup. Yes. Nice backhand winner there from Baez. Baez is on fire at the moment. 40 love. Backhand to backhand rally as that goes up the line for a winner for Baez. It's 4-all. 4-all. All right, back to Stan. He was up 4-1. As the return goes into the forehand of Stan. Forehand now from Baez to the backhand of Stan. As Baez backhand again to the backhand of Wawrinka. Forehand now from Baez. Stan comes to the net, but it goes long from Baez. 15 love. Stan will play the US Open, I think. 0 people in the chat have said anything that gives me confidence that he's going to stay and play all year. No way. I'm seeing a lot of maybe, probably, I think. No one is certain. So don't just think because he won the US Open, he's going to go to New York. And that he's not going to say in Paris, I'm good. Just, again, I'm doing this to prepare you all for him saying, I'm not playing after Roland Garros. Just be prepared. I don't want anybody being like, but he has to play the US Open. Oh, I can't. Like, you gotta. That's why we gotta watch him, because he might be gone in like 4 tournaments. He might be out. Just be prepared. Yeah, he said he's retiring. That's it. He didn't say when or where or how or just in 2026. So just be ready. 40 love. There's a backhand from Stan, goes in the net, 40-15. I don't think Stan knows either. Well, yeah, that's true. He might not know either. All right, 40-15, Stan to stay in front. As he double faults, 40-30. Collins says she would retire, but she didn't. Yeah, but she's not 40. 40-30. And also, she was winning a lot. She started winning a lot. So... And Collins has had different reasons, I think, for announcing her retirement than Stan, right? Stan's announcing it because he's 40. He's played a lot of tennis. You know, it's time. Whereas Collins, I don't think Collins was retiring because she had enough of tennis. I think it was more of a personal family situation. Yeah, different reasons. All right. I reckon Nole retires next year. Nah, Djokovic. If Djokovic if he doesn't retire this year, he'll play the Olympics in 28. Like I don't see Djokovic retiring next year, and then not pushing for another year. Like. If he retire, he's either retiring this year or 2028. I'd be so shocked if he retired next year. Like so close to another Olympics. Why I don't see him retiring before an Olympics. Like Now, like retiring now, okay, yeah, 2 years away, well, that's a long time. But I don't see him retiring at the end of next year when the Olympics is like 6 months later. When players announce they're retiring at 35 plus, it's usually a done deal. They won't reconsider. Yeah. All right. Baez are going to serve to stay in the set. By the way, what's going on with these other matches? So Nava's up 4-3 against Lehechka. Berg's won the first set against Manarino. As with a 4-4 rally, now down to the slice of Baez. Backing up from Stan. Up the line. Baez with a 4 cross court. Stan gets back. But the drop shot's in the net. It's 15-love. All right. By the way, people are playing Linz as well, so we'll keep an eye on that. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day, because tomorrow we're probably going to get Alcaraz. Maybe. Or no, we'll get Sinner tomorrow. As with a 4-4 rally. Up the line to the backhand of Baez. Backhand out from Stan. Into the backhand of Baez. Baez in the net. 15-0. So yeah, tomorrow we're probably going to have Sinner playing tomorrow. Who else is playing tomorrow? Demon or Norrie is probably tomorrow. Monfils Bublik's probably tomorrow as well. A lot of first rounds are still going tomorrow. 30-15. Serve to the back in the stand. Return goes back into Baez. But the drop shot's in the net. And it's 30-0. 30-0. Baez in trouble. Alcaraz probably play Wednesday? Yeah. No, I don't think Zverev. Oh, maybe. I don't know. There's a backhand return now to the forehand of Baez. Forehand from Stan. As Baez forehand inside out. Good shot. He comes in there with a volley and puts it away. 40-30 Baez. Nice rally. Yeah, Sinner will... I mean, because Humbert played yesterday, you'd think that Sinner would play tomorrow against Humbert. I think tomorrow is going to be like a couple of second round matches, not too many, and then there's still so many first rounds that haven't been completed. Echeverry Dimitrov, right? That's a first round that hasn't been done. Sarundo Vachereau is today. Menchik Marijan tomorrow. Daderi Hurkacz tomorrow. Berrettini RBA tomorrow. 5-5. Rude Popperin will be tomorrow. So there's still a few first rounds still to go. But they'll probably sprinkle in a couple of second rounds as well. Sinner probably is part of that. All right, 5-0. Stan says big out wide. 15-love. By the way, Chad, I watched The Untouchables today. Great movie. Great movie. And be a default second serve. Now, schedule's not out yet. It'll be out in a couple hours. No, I'm talking the one from with Sean Connery and Kevin Costner. Not the original. 15 all. Stan, 30-15. The one where De Niro is Al Capone. 30-15. $30-15. And we got a fault, second serve. Yeah, Kevin Costner is the main guy. As we get a double fault, 30-0. That's the third double fault from Stan. Stan serves out wide, a fault. Second serve. Into the forehand of Baez. Forehand from Wawrinka to the backhand of Baez. Stan hit it wide. And it's 30-40. Baez with a break point. $30-40. Stan serves. A fault. Second serve. Great win from Pegula yesterday. Yeah, it was. As a backhand return now to the forehand of Stan. Forehand from Baez. Into the forehand of Stan. And Baez forehand again. There's a drop shot in the net and we get the deuce. I really want to see Pegula win a Grand Slam this year. I think that would be so fun. Rublev had some sort of neck issue. Yeah, I'm not sure what his injury was, but yeah. He did get a medical timeout. And Stan serves down the tee. Let. As with a forehand from Stan in the net. Advantage Baez. Have I seen Lawrence of Arabia? No, but it's on my list. All right, advantage Baez. As with a forehand into the net from Baez. And a big shout by Stan. Back to deuce. Stan's feeling it. Back to deuce. It is pouring rain at my house now. Back to deuce. Stan serves a fault. Second serve. As the return goes into the forehand of Stan. Forehand out from Baez. Again, the forehand of Stan up the line. To the backhand of Baez. Stan, backhand. To the backhand of Baez again. To the backhand of Stan. Baez. Again to the backhand of Stan. Stan hits a wide. Advantage Baez. Advantage Baez to take this break. As the return goes into the forehand of Stan. Stan hits a wide. Baez breaks. All right, 6-5. Baez will serve for the set. Steph's on after this, yeah. And then we've also got Fonseca is on after... Is he on after Lehechka? I think so, right? All right. Stan should retire. He is at the end of the... Well, he is this year, yeah. Rublev injured, or can I rely on him to give my team a second win? He won already today. So he's already done that. But he's got... He did say... I did read that he is going to be a little bit cautious going into the... whether or not he can play next round. So he might withdraw the next round if he's not 100%. But yeah, we're watching Fonseca. The Sting with Paul Newman. Check it out. Okay. Why does Djokovic withdraw from big events like this? So that he can be 100% for the bigger events, like Roland Garros. All right, 6-5. Stan returns long, and it's 15-love. Baez serving for the set. Oh, you can make changes to your team already for next week? Really? I didn't know that. Wait, actually? Wait, can you? How? Anyway, Stan wins a point 15-0. Are you sure? I can't make changes to my team. Oh, wait, no, you have to click next. You may begin setting team for the following week once you've selected the 6 players. Once you've selected your main 6 players, save your team. Important, you have 2 free switches. Oh, okay, so yeah, you have to click next. Oh, okay, good. All right, so what can I do? Oh, you can actually make your team for next week. Interesting. That's cool. Was it a backhand from Baez? Stan with the backhand up the line to the forehand of Baez, to the forehand of Stan. Baez backhand into the backhand slice of Stan. Baez with a slice backhand again to the backhand of Stan. Up the line to the forehand of Baez. Stan backhand to backhand with Baez. Stan up the line off the tape. Goes in. Baez forehand cross court. Stan gets it. Baez forehand. Cross court in the net. It's 15-30. All right, 15-30. Has anybody tested out if you can like change if you save it, can you go like revert it back if you change your mind, or does it lock it in? I don't want to risk it. All right, 15-30. Is it a forehand on the stretch from Baez? Stan, forehand up the line. Goes out, 30-0. Like, is there a way to like undo the changes, or I don't want to make a bunch of changes and then not be able to change it. I think it's probably locked in. I don't dare to try it. Somebody want to test it out. Somebody want to test out whether or not you can make changes. You can undo your changes for next week. I know there's a 7-day lock time, but the 2 free switches, do they? If you save it, does that? If you save that, does it get rid of them? You know what? I'm just not going to touch it for now. We'll wait until the next weekend. Just play it safe. Anyways, Stan hits it in the net. We're going to set point by Baez, 40-30. All right, 40-30. Baez to take the first set. As that goes the net by Stan. And Baez takes the first set, 7-5. Thumbs up by Stan towards Baez as well. There's a little bit, feels like there's a little bit prickly out there. Both these guys are very vocal. All right, first set in the bag to Baez, 7-5. All right, 7-5. 7.4 for Stan on the performance rating, 7.1 for Baez. So Stan was playing slightly better. They both weren't playing amazing. I mean, both hit 8 winners, 10 errors for Baez, and 19 errors for Stan. So Stan a lot sloppier on the within the rallies. If you don't save it, I guess you can play around with it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there should be an undo button, right? I mean, if you make changes now and then, if you want to make changes now and then something happens in the future, you should be able to, it shouldn't get rid of you. You should be able to just undo changes and get your free switches back. I'm guessing, but I don't want to risk it. And you shouldn't either. Don't. We'll wait for later. Because you might want to bring in a qualifier for who, you know, or someone who qualifies next week. You know, you want to make a team now? Yeah, you can. It's you can. I think you can make a team now if you didn't make one last week, and you can still join the league. So go check it out. How many people got in the league? We're about 120 people in the league, which is great. I wish they updated the leagues in real time. I think you have to wait till the end of the week before they update the leagues, but it'd be great to know like who's actually top of the league right now. Is anyone having a good? Is anyone being playing? Had a good couple of days in their team? Let me check their team. If you want me to. All right, 30 love Stan. Yeah, I got Tabilo points as well. All right, back in a backhand rally. As Baez back in the net. Did anyone pick Stan for their team? Because I know a few people, like I was considering Stan as well, but just because he was playing Alcaraz second round, I didn't really want to mess with it. Also, Baez was on my radar as well, but again, I didn't want to mess with it. All right, 40-15. God, Lehechka is hanging on to serve at the moment. Also, did anyone pick Bergs? I feel like Bergs is kind of an underrated pick. Lehechka just saved 2 set points. Yeah, I saw that. 40-30. I took Stan. I needed a 1 coin player. Oh, yeah, fair enough. You got Lehechka? Okay. I think a lot of people might have picked Lehechka because of Miami and how good he was. I nearly did as well. Is it a backhand rally? Into the backhand of Stan. Backhand Baez. A Stan backhand in the net. We get the deuce. All right, we get the deuce. As Baez hits it out in the return. It's advantage for Wawrinka. You got Berg as an alternate, okay. Most of your players are playing today, okay. An advantage for Wawrinka. Ooh, Lehechka survives. There's a forehand to the backhand of Baez. And then Stan forehand goes long. We get back to deuce. Stan serves again. And the return goes in the net by Baez. Advantage for Wawrinka. Went with Monfils and Dimitrov as alternates. Yeah, I went with Berrettini as the alternate. I might get Dimi though. So the backhand from Baez to the slice of Stan. Baez drop shot. Too good. Back to deuce. All right, first serve is a fault, second serve. Whereas Baez comes in with a smash, puts it away. And it's advantage Baez to get the break first game of the second. All right, Stan with a good serve. Back to deuce. As we just serve from Stan to the backhand of Baez. Return the backhand of Stan. Backhand of Baez again. The backhand of Stan. Into the forehand of Baez. Stan up the line as Baez backhand to the backhand of Stan. Baez wins the point though. Stan hit wide. And it's advantage Baez to get the break in the second. Yeah, I really need Fonseca to win today. Really need Fonzie to win today. All right, first serve's a fault, second serve. As the return goes back into Stan. Forehand from Baez on the stretch. Stan. Again to the forehand of Baez. Into the backhand slice of Stan as Baez backhand is a winner. There's the break. 1-love in the second. I need to see a Fonseca Medvedev match. Is that possible this week? Oh yeah, third round could be interesting. Yeah. That could be fun. No surprise Lehechka is dominating the tiebreak. With that serve. All right. Baez has won 7 of the last 8 games. He was down 4-1 in the first set. He's come back strong. All right, back to Wawrinka. So back to Baez, and it's love 15. Wawrinka with a good return. Love 15. As return goes to the backhand of Baez. Backhand of Wawrinka to the front of Baez. As Stan forehand up the line. Baez backhand to the backhand of Stan. Backhand of Baez again, the backhand of Stan. As Baez backhand again to the slice of Stan. Stan hits it long. It's 15-all. By the way, chat, this is our 8th Monte Carlo Masters we're covering. 8th time we're covering this tournament. Sorry, 7th, because 2020 didn't have my Monte Carlo. 7th time. 2019, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, now 26. Oh, no, 7th time. Did I say 7? No, yes. 7th. All right, 30-15. Which means that this Roland Garros will be our 8th. Shit. It's crazy. All right, 40-15. All right, first serve the fault, second serve. Lehechka won the tiebreak 7-1. What was the 2019 Wimbledon reaction like? That was crazy. 2-love, Baez. Yeah, 2019 Wimbledon was... that was that for a while there. That was the biggest match of the channel for at least 2 years. All right. 2-love. As with a 4-4 rally. As Wawrinka can't get that one. Baez puts it away. Love 15. Just trying to understand, you guys create a team on the ATP website, right? And you've got a league for the channel. Yeah, so you have to put... you make your team, and then to join the league, you go to leagues, you click join league, and then you put that code that I put in the chat in the join private league invitation code. And then you can join the league. Love 15. As Wawrinka forehand to the front of Baez. He hits a drop shot, Baez. Stan gets it with a drop shot, but Baez is quick and puts it down the line. Stan with a lob. Baez with a smash. Too good. Love 30. Love 30. We're going to serve again. And ace down the tee, 15-30. Great serve down the tee from Stan. 15-30. That's your fault. Second serve. As the turn goes back end of Stan, backhand to backhand as we just slice in the line, but it goes wide by Baez. And it's 30-all. First serve's a fault. Second serve. And Stan, down a break point again, 30-40. All right, 30-40. That goes in it by Baez, and it's deuce. What's the time for Alex's match? Which Alex? All right, we get the deuce. Good serve. Sorry, not a good serve by Stan. Advantage by Ez. As the return goes in, the forehand of Stan. Forehand from Baez. Into the net. Back to deuce. Fonseca is playing after Lehechka. All right, back to deuce. As the return goes the forehand to Stan. But Stan hit it long. Advantage by Ez for the double break. It looks like I got points for Rublev's win, even though he's one of my alternates. Is that right? Lauren, what's your team name? And I'll go check it out why that, like, if that's right or not. What's your team name? All right, advantage by Ez. As the return goes in the back of Stan. Baez forehand. Stan with the slice. Baez forehand goes the forehand to Stan. Volley Baez, too good. Double break. 3-love in the second. Chuck a dream, okay. Yeah, so the reason why Rublev is counting is because Feast is not playing. So Rublev has come on for Feast. But Medvedev, I'm pretty sure the alternates work that it's whoever's the alternate that's on the left will be the first alternate, and whoever's on the right is the second alternate. But yeah, Rublev's points are counting because Feast is not playing. By the way, Grigspor got a -6. That's crazy. That sucks. Like, a -6 is crazy. I don't know how they're going to do this scoring, because if Alcaraz wins the tournament, he's going to get 1,000 points. So somebody getting 1,000 points to -6, I mean, that's a lot. I feel like that's a bit too much. Anyways, yeah, so because Feast is not playing, Rublev has taken his place for now. But I think maybe Medvedev might be the first alternate. I don't think they've confirmed that, but it'd be cool if the alternate with the most points gets to go on your field. But yeah, it's because Feast isn't playing. So Feast is getting replaced by Rublev. Grigspor was a heavy favorite, maybe that's why. But yeah, Grigspor he hit a lot of double faults. And he also, yeah, so I'm looking at you can break down the scores. I love this. This is so cool. So he double faulted 11 times, so he lost 22 points. He got no points for advancing, right? Because he lost, so he only got 10 points for the round. And then I think also because he was... So it wasn't considered an upset. So, yeah, it's because he double faulted 11 times. That's why he lost points. Yeah. And Rublev, he double faulted... Yeah, it's so weird because the aces count for 2 points, but the double faults count for 2 points. So if you hit the same amount of double faults and aces, you basically get 0. It doesn't count. But yeah, that's interesting. Griekspoor, yeah, the double faults from Griekspoor, that was why he struggled. Whereas Tabilo got a straight sets bonus. He did double fault 3 times, but aced 5, so he got +4 there. And a round advance, he goes to third round, gets 50 points. I love 30 here. Wawrinka looking for a breakback. But yeah, again, Baez didn't get an upset win either. So, did anybody actually lose yesterday that was supposed to win? Like, was there an upset yesterday? I can't remember. Actually, let me check Rinderknecht. He upset Hashanov. Did that count? He got 90 points. He must have got an upset. He did. Hashanov must have got like a -40. So Rinderknecht got 50 points for round 3. He got 5 aces, straight sets win, and an upset. So Rinderknecht might be the player of the round right now. He got 90 points. That's a huge total for one match. Hashanov must have got a big minus. -10. Okay, that's not terrible. Yeah, he got minus for an upset. It's not great. You don't want a minus, but it's 15-40. Yeah, if you had Rinderknecht though, that's a massive chunk of points. Even if he loses next round, he's still going to probably have a good total for at least for a guy who, for a lower ranked guy. As we're going to find now from Baez, that's in the net. Stan gets a break back. 3-1 Baez. Yeah, so I think we can confirm now that if an unseeded player beats a seed, that's an upset. Because no one else has got an upset bonus. Like, I don't think, unless... Now, because Griekspoor was the favorite against Monfils, I think. I'm pretty sure. So Monfils winning didn't count as an upset. So it must be just a seeded player. An unseeded player beating a seed you get a bonus. Because yeah, Monfils didn't get an upset victory. He only got points for the win. Yeah, it makes more sense that way though. It makes it easy because that means if an unseeded player beats a seed, then that like if you've got an unseeded player coming up, you don't have to worry about whether or not all your players are favorites or not. Anyways, love 15. As that goes out by Stan, love 30. Love 30. Swear the rules said lower ranked players also count even if the player they beat wasn't a seed. Yeah, well, Morven, that makes sense. But Monfils didn't get a bonus, so he's the best example, right? He would have got 20 extra points because he beat Griekspoor, who's way higher ranked, but that didn't count. Monfils didn't get a 20-point bonus, so maybe the wording was wrong, or maybe they just mucked it up. Because it made it weird to think that like every single match had a 20-point bonus. Like I feel like that's a bit excessive. 15-30. As we're four now from Stan into the backhand of Baez. Stan with the forehand to the forehand of Baez. And Stan forehand again, the forehand of Baez. He's going forehand to forehand. And as Baez goes up the line to the backhand of Stan, Baez gets the point. Stan hits it out. So if Tsitsipas beats Cerundolo, it's an upset. Yeah. If Tsitsipas beats Cerundolo, yeah, that's an upset because it's a seed losing to an unseeded player. Yeah. So Tsitsipas would get a bonus if he wins. Yeah. If that's what the rules are, then we're gonna guess that that's what the rules are. Anyways, Stan hits it out. Baez gets the double break again, and it's 4-1 Baez. It was worded. It was poorly worded. It said unseeded / lower ranked. Yeah, so I don't think it meant like unseeded or lower ranked. I think it must mean like unseeded at lower ranked. Like this, the unseeded part was the. I don't know. We'll find out. We're still learning this as we go, right? So that means it's wiser to pick unseeded players who play seeds. You know what it might mean? It might mean that you don't pick low seeds. Like, that might be the strategy. Like, yeah, pick Alcaraz and Sinner, right? Pick the high seeds, but maybe avoid picking players that are sort of like between 10 and 16 in the seeds. Because if they lose, and they can lose, that's a risky play. So maybe don't pick players that are like low seeds. Or don't pick seeded players that have terrible draws. Like, don't pick, Musetti and Demon are in the tricky section of the draw. Maybe it's not worth picking them. Kaboli, that's a dangerous pick. Hashanov obviously was a dangerous pick today. Maybe avoid picking those kind of players. Because if they're unseeded and they lose, you'd rather have an unseeded player lose, right? I mean, if an unseeded player loses, at least you don't get those minus 20. All right, love 15. I'm still confused how it works. Hey, don't worry, we're all confused. Don't worry, we're all learning as we go. FAA as well, yeah, maybe FAA as well, yeah. Or Medvedev on clay, right? I mean, that could be sketchy. As the backhand goes into the net, love 30. I hope when, after each round, they have a list of like the best players. I hope it's not just like standings of teams. I hope they put another section where you can like check out like who did the best that round, what was the best player, who was the best, who was the worst player, right? Like I hope they do that kind of stuff too. Like where it says like where you can pick your players, I hope they put like average points and stuff, not just the price. That'd be really handy. Anyways, love 40. My team's currently on 124 points. All right, love 40. As backhand return goes into the forehand of Baez. Forehand now from Stan. Into the forehand of Baez. Stan up the line to the backhand of Baez. The Stan backhand is long, and it's 15-40. Same player, yeah. Same total, same player, yep. Tabilo, if anyone who has Tabilo got the same, probably has the same total. All right, return goes back into Baez. Slice from Stan. Into the forehand of Baez. Stan with the backhand slice on the stretch. Goes in the net, 30-40. I feel like I'm not good at this at all, although yesterday was okay. Yeah. Hey, look, that's the thing, though. It doesn't matter. Like, this is all just for fun. Like, we're taking it really, like, we're talking about it really seriously, and it's really, like, intense, but it is all just for fun. Because, like, there's going to be times when, like, no one's going to have a good team every week. Like, there's going to be times when you're going to have a lot of upsets, and your team is going to suck. And then there's going to be other times when you pick all the quarterfinalists, and your team is on fire. It's just the way it goes. It's just the fun of it. So don't worry if you don't. And we're all learning this too. I mean, I only know as Baez gets a deuce. I only understand it a little bit more maybe than somebody who has, because I play fantasy sports before. So if you're new to like fantasy sports and you don't play like fantasy football or other things, then it's all new, right? So I only know from that. But even then, it's not the same. It's a different competition. And so I don't even know everything either. So we'll all learn together. As it a 4-4 rally. And Wawrinka with a great forehand. He comes to the net now with a smash. Baez is there with a backhand lob. And Stan lets it bounce. And hits a smash straight to Baez. And then Stan forehand goes wide. Baez advantage. Advantage Baez to take the to take the 5-1 lead. So wait, did Bergs win? I'm guessing that's what happened. Listening to this, I'm so happy I didn't join. Debbie, you're going to miss out. You miss out on all the fun. Advantage by Ez. As Baez serves again. As Baez serves again. Into the back of Wawrinka. Forehand from Baez. Into the net. Back to deuce. That's why I use the alternate chip, because I could pick my entire team based on the draw. And Monte Carlo is high stakes. Yeah, true. I mean, like, I wish I had thought that as well. Where were you 4 days ago when we were talking about this? Backhand slice lob. There's a bit of smash from Baez. That's a winner. Advantage Baez. Advantage Baez. I don't know. I might use my alternate chip on either next week or the week before the French. Maybe not. Maybe Rome. I don't know. Just depends who plays. Need to have a full team. That goes out by Baez, and we're back to deuce. I think Roland Garros if you don't, you should have a full team by Roland Garros, right? Like, if you don't have a full team by the French, then something, then you've had some disappointing results. Deuce. There's a backhand return from Stan. Goes wide. Advantage by Ez. As Baez serves a fault, second serve. As the return goes out by Stan, it's 5-1 Baez. And Stan's going to serve to stay in the match. By the way, Al, can you use 2 chips at the same week, or is it 1 chip per week? Because that's also probably... So can you use triple bounce ball, or whatever it's called, triple points and the alternates, or can you only use 1? 1 per week, okay. So there you can't use it for the French, unless you... Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm going to use my triple ball for Roland Garros as well. Because that's worth so many points. I only use it once, okay. I mean, I know you can only use once. I only use 1, okay. So that means you have to use the alternate before the French if you want to use it. Unless you want to use it for the French. All right. 4-4 rally. As Baez goes up the line. Slice from Stan. Goes to 4 Baez. Baez puts it away. And it's 15 all. Oh, so you can check the points live. Interesting. So Lehecka currently on 32 points, but he's winning, so. Interesting. I didn't realize you could check the points, live points. All right, 30-15. All right. As that goes out by Stan, it's 30-all. As we serve. Down the tee and in the net by Baez. 40-30 Stan. When I check, everyone is at 0. Is this normal? I just joined. Did it only showing me for next week's ranking? Yeah, because you can't join to this week because it's already locked in. As Baez gets the forehand back into the forehand stand. Forehand from Baez to the back of the stand. As Baez backhand into the back of the stand. Up the line's good. Baez with the forehand again, the back of the stand. Baez backing up the line, goes wide, and Stan holds. All right, 5-2. Yeah, so because you joined today, you can't play this week. You have to wait till next week. That's just how it is. Do you think that Stan will complete the career slam at Wimbledon this year? I'm going to ask you the same question because I'm not going to answer it. Do you think Stan can win Wimbledon this year and complete the career slam? Do you think that? What do you think? I want to know what you think. I don't see why not. There you go. All right, 5-2. But is this the first tournament? Because if you guys have been playing for weeks, no, this is the first week. But the problem is because you didn't make a team last week, so it started this week, but you didn't make the team before the deadline for this week. So this is the first tournament, but unfortunately you missed out because the deadline was yesterday to put your team in for this week. Now you will be in next week, but yeah, you can't be in this week because it's already started. So you have to put your team in before the first match of the first round of the tournament of the next week. Finally understood. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So because you unfortunately made a team today and not yesterday, you missed the deadline. But for Barcelona Munich, your team will be active, and you'll be in for next week. 15 love. Players serving for the match. As we're back into the net by Baez. 15-all. 15-all. We had a fault second serve. As the return goes in the front of Baez. Front from Stan to the back of Baez. Stan. Backhand slice. Baez volley in the net. All right, 15-30. 15-30. As the return goes into the forehand of Baez, backing up from Stan. Into the backhand of Baez, a Stan into the forehand of Baez. Another backhand from Wawrinka. Baez again goes to the backhand of Stan, sliced into the forehand of Baez. Baez hits it long. All right, 15-40. Stan to get one of the breaks back. I'll bet my inheritance on Stan winning Wimbledon this year. Let me guess, you don't have any? 15-40. As it is served now, the backhand of Stan. Backhand goes out by Stan. 30-40. Still a break point for Stan. 30-40. As that backhand goes out by Baez. All right. Stan gets one of the breaks back. 5-3. And Stan's just having a chat. I think he's talking to the tournament director, because they're standing. The tournament director is standing next to the court because they're going to do a big presentation if Stan wins or loses. If he loses, they're going to do a thing, right? So he's talking to him, being like, "Sorry, I'm not done yet." All right, 5-3. Stan hanging on. There's a bit of point out by Stan. It's love 15. Get the beer ready. Well, what are they drinking in Monte Carlo? It wouldn't be beer. They drink something fancy, right? Like Chardonnay. His backhand passing shot, and Stan volleys it away. 15-0. Solid volley. There's a bit of fault, second serve. As a return goes out by Baez, 30-15. As Stan misses it wide, 30-0. As we're going to backhand rally. Baez backhand again, the backhand of Stan. Backhand Baez again to the backhand of Stan. They're just going backhand to backhand. Baez in the net, 40-30, Stan, to keep his Monte Carlo going. All right, first serve's a fault, second serve. As the backhand return goes out by Baez. All right. And a big shout by Stan. He's not done yet. Baez will try and serve the match again. 5-4. All right. All right. All right. Baez is going to serve for it again. As Baez with a lovely drop shot, but Stan gets it. And then Baez hits the backhand cross-court winner. And it's 15 love. $15 love. As it a backhand rally. Another backhand from Stan to the backhand of Baez. Backhand of Stan again to the forehand of Baez. Into the backhand of Stan. Up the line. There's a shot. Baez gets it back though. And then Stan forehand again to the forehand of Baez. Stan goes up the line with a forehand again. Baez gets it back with a slice. Stan forehand inside out. Baez defending with a slice again. Baez on the forehand stretch. Puts up a lob. In comes Stan. And he puts it away. All right. 15-all. And the crowd love that. 15-all. As Baez serves. Fault, second serve. As the return goes into the forehand of Baez. Stan with a slice. In the net. 30-15. $30-15. As the return goes in the forehand of Baez. Drop shot's good. Stan gets over the slice. Baez with a lob. Stan puts away the smash. No, Baez gets there, but puts it long. 30-all. Baez has got to be getting nervous. Remember, the winner of this play is Alcaraz. 30-all. As the return goes back into Baez. Sliced into the backhand of Stan. Baez backhand. Into the backhand of Stan as Baez backhand again. The backhand of Stan. Baez again to the backhand of Stan. Baez now with a forehand. Into the forehand of Stan. Baez trying to take over. And Stan hits a forehand cross court again. Now Baez gets on the stretch. Forehand to forehand rally. Just going cross court. Stan picking up the pace. And then Baez hits it out. 30-40. To get back on serve. $30-40. As the return goes in the front of Baez, backhand from Stan. Into the front of Baez. Stan with the backhand on the stretch. Baez with a slice. Doesn't come to the net. Backhand Stan up the line. Baez with a slice forehand. Goes long. We're back on serve. And Stan shakes the fist. 5-5. From 2 breaks down to 5-all. And this crowd are going crazy. All right, 5-5. They're loving it out there. All right, 5-all. All right, 15 love. $15 as Wawrinka serves again. Into the backhand of Baez. Backhand from Stan to the forehand of Baez. Stan with a forehand slice. Baez inside out forehand. Up goes a lob by Stan. Goes out, though. 15-0. As we get a fault, second serve. Serving to the back end of Baez. Return goes long, and it's 30-15. Lehetras 3-0 in the second. But it was 5-1 down, was he? Oh, yeah, he was, wasn't he? It was 2 breaks of serve, 5-1. And Baez then got broken to give one back. And then broken again. All right, serve and volley's good. Doesn't need a volley, though, Stan. 40-15. To take the lead. (40-15). As a return from Baez, the forehand of Stan. Stan overhits it. 40-30. As we go fault. Second serve. There's the backhand return. To the backhand stand. Backhand to Baez. To the backhand stand. Up the line's good. Baez gets with the forehand. Stand. Forehand down the line. That's a great shot. Slice from Baez goes in. Oh, man. Too good. Stand couldn't get the volley. And we get the deuce. All right. We get to deuce. There's a backhand to backhand rally. And Stan hits it out. Advantage Baez. We'll take the break and serve for the match again. As return goes into the forehand of Stan. Backhand Baez. Into the backhand of Stan. Baez with the forehand. Again to the backhand of Stan. Sliced. Into the forehand of Baez. Stan. Forehand up the line. Baez is there with the backhand. Cross court into the slice of Stan. Baez. Forehand cross court. Stan gets with a slice. Baez backhand cross court. Stan with a pass. But Baez puts the volley straight to Stan. And then he puts away the smash. There's the break. Baez will serve for the match again. All right, 6-5. All right. Put a poll up. Do you think whether Stan will come back, break again? 1 in the chat if you think Stan breaks. 2 in the chat if you think Baez holds. One in the chat if you think Stan breaks back. 2 if you think Baez holds. So, okay. All right, 50-50. All right, Baez served for the match for the third time. As Baez forehand, Stan with a slice in the net, 15-love. Nava breaks in the second. Damn. All right. 15-love. As we're back in a backhand rally. Forehand from Stan. As we're forehand from Baez into the forehand of Stan. Baez forehand again. As we know, the backhand from Stan at the line. Forehand from Baez goes into the slice of Stan. Baez backhand. Slice winner. 30-love. $30-love. Cam's drip looks nice today. Now I'm rocking the... That's how I feel after yesterday. All right, return goes into the forehand of Baez. And Stan gets it back to the forehand of Baez. Baez hits a lovely cross-court winner. 40-love, match points Baez to take his spot against Alcaraz in the second round. That'll be on Wednesday. Pretty sure. Pretty sure it's on Wednesday. All right, first serves a fault, second serve. Serving to the back of Stan. Return goes back into Baez. Stan with a forehand. Into the forehand of Baez. Stan. Forehand again to the forehand of Baez. Baez went up the line, but he missed. 40-15. All right, match point number 2. Serve the back of the stand. Return goes for Baez. He puts it away. There it is. Baez gets the win. It was a valiant effort by Stan. But Baez too strong. And Stan's Monte Carlo career comes to an end. But he didn't go out without a fight. We love that. We wouldn't expect anything less from Stan. All right. He did claw back. Yeah, that second set was getting a little bit away from him, but he did make it interesting. But Baez finally gets it done. And now he plays Alcaraz, and that's the prize. You just beat Stan, now play Carlos. I really wish Stan would have won. It would have been great to see him play Alcaraz. Yeah, he might still get to play Alcaraz in the future. You know? Nah, he's never played Alcaraz, but he might still get to play him. You know, there's still plenty of tournaments left. I mean, he could quite possibly play him at Roland Garros first round, so. The second set reminded me of the second set of Nadal Djokovic at the Olympics, when Nadal broke back, but eventually lost one by a break. Yeah. It was a good fight by Stan. Not joking, Baez looked very good. I mean, yeah, they both played well. Wasn't a terrible match. By the way, Nava's up 5-3 in the second against Lehecka. Nava could have won that match in straight sets. He had chances to win the first, and now he's up in the second. I mean, Lehecka's in a dogfight. I feel bad for Stan the man, but it is what it is. Hey, look, he entertained the crowd, and you know, he almost pulled off an epic fight back. Right. Can Baez beat Carlos? Probably not. I can see that match going two ways. One, Alcaraz just absolutely smokes it, right? He just gets out in like 2-1, right? Or Baez, makes Alcaraz hit errors, right? By just defending really well. But I have a feeling it's more likely going to be Alcaraz just crushing winners and Baez not being able to do much. But actually, you know what, though? Playing Alcaraz this early on in the tournament is much better than playing him in the semis. So if Baez has got a chance, it's definitely in the early rounds. We have seen players push Alcaraz early in tournaments, that maybe we wouldn't have expected. But, I mean, if all things are right, if all things go the way that they should, Alcaraz should probably win 2-2, right? But, maybe Baez can frustrate Alcaraz a little bit. If he can just defend well, maybe Alcaraz is a little bit off changing the surfaces. So, we have seen that happen. I would be very surprised if Alcaraz lost, but maybe there's a little bit of rust there. Hasn't played on clay since winning Roland Garros, so. Oh, pardon me. God, I'm still getting used to these time zones. By the way, in other news, Nav is serving for the set against Lehechka. Also, Garin is up 3-2 against Rinaldi. When do Carlos and Sinner play tomorrow? So I think Sinner plays tomorrow. Carlos is probably going to play Wednesday. Because the second round goes over 2 days. So I think Alcaraz will play Wednesday and Sinner will play tomorrow, would be my guess. All right. So we're waiting for Nava Lehechka to finish. So then we can watch Fonseca. So we might have to wait a little longer because that match is going the distance. So we might have a bit of a delay. I'm not surprised Lehechka is just not a good defender on clay and Nava has some serious power. Yeah. Also, playing a qualifier who's come through 2 matches on clay already, for somebody who hasn't played on clay yet, is always going to be dangerous. No, see you later, DJ. I'm just having a look here at how this Lehechka match is going. Who would I consider a clay court specialist? I mean, Baez would be on that list. Clay court specialist. I mean, a lot of the South Americans, I think Navone, who else? Maybe Darderi is yet to prove he can play on hard courts. He made the fourth round of Australian Open, but I feel like Darderi is a clay court specialist, but has a chance to become an all-court player. But I would say Darderi is a clay court specialist for now, at the moment. But that Australian Open fourth round kind of made me think, okay, there's potential to be able to, there's potential. But I would say Darderi for now. Who else? Yeah, Navone, I would say clay court specialist. Carabelli, right? Another Argentina player. The guy that Roman who we watched yesterday, right? The guy who played Paul yesterday. He's a clay court guy at this point. Bouzet is probably a clay courter, but again, potential there to break out on other surfaces. But I would say he's probably a clay court at this stage. Specialist. Jera is a weird one because Jera is good on clay, but he could probably, again, he's sort of like, he's 30 years old now though, but maybe Jera. But I mean, he has proven he pushed Djokovic to 5 sets at the US one year, so yeah. So yeah, those kind of guys, I would say. I don't think Ruud's a clay court specialist. I mean, he's a clay court, he's a clay court first, but I think he can play on other surfaces. He can play on hard courts. I'm guessing when you say clay court specialist, you mean like clay court is like their only thing, right? Like their clay court, and then maybe like they have a good week on a hard court every now and again, but it's not. It's hard. Most of the time they lose on hard courts. That's what I hear. Like clay court specialist is somebody who can't play well on other surfaces. Ruud can play well on hard courts. Cerundolo can play well on hard courts. I mean, that's not. I think him and Ruud are in the same boat. Both of them can play on clay. That's their foundation, but they can play on hard courts. So I'm guessing, unless you mean clay court specialist isn't like someone who can play really well on clay and everywhere else, and if that's the case, there's 100 names you can name. But I see clay court specialist as somebody who's like, clay courts is their only good surface, and outside of clay, they struggle. Their specialty is clay. When they're on hard courts, it's a different story. Tsitsipas can play on other surfaces. Tsitsipas is fine on. He's not a clay court only. Yeah, Carabelli. Yeah, a lot of the players from South America are probably on the list. Cerundolo's an exception. Now, Tabilo, what's he done on hard courts? Because he might be a bit of a clay court specialist. I can't think of many of the other what's his results on other surfaces? Not sure. By the way, Lehecki is about to break back. Are there any grass specialists? No, because there's not enough. There's not enough points to be a grass specialist. Also, like, the way I think of a clay court specialist is somebody that can get away with playing well on clay. By the way, somebody recent times in the last decade, clay court specialist, Cecchinato from Italy. Because he couldn't win any matches outside of clay. It was clay, and then outside of clay, he'd lose every round. So that's a clay court specialist to me. Grass court specialist, there's no way you can be a grass court specialist unless you win Wimbledon. Because if you can't win on hard courts or clay, and you can only win on grass, you're kind of screwed. Like, you're not going to have enough points. Like, if you'd have to win Eastbourne, Queen's Club, Wimbledon to like every year to like keep yourself in the top 50 or top 20. Like, that would be enough to stay in the top 20, but you'd have to do that every year. And then like nothing else. Like, you suck everywhere else, but on grass, that's it. It's not happening. Maybe back in the day there was, right? Maybe there was grass court specialists back in like the 70s when there was grass, a lot more grass, but yeah, you couldn't. There's no such thing as a grass court specialist now. There's just not enough points. Oh, Lehechka broke back. Well, we might be watching Fonseca sooner than I thought. What about a hard court specialist? I feel like hard court specialist is just an average player. Like, that's just your average player these days. Like, I don't think anybody. I mean, Medvedev. Like, I don't think there's such thing as a hard court specialist. It's just like literally hard courts are the default setting. Like, that's the baseline, right? That's it. Like, most players, you're either a clay court specialist or you're a tennis player. Like, I don't think there's a hard court specialist, really. I mean, is there anyone that can play on hard courts but can't play on clay and grass? No, because Medvedev can play on grass, so he's not a hard court specialist. It's just not a thing. Because hard courts are just, like, make up the majority of the tour. So if you're not good on hard courts, I mean, you better be good on clay. Like, really good on clay. But yeah, I don't think... And there's no such thing as a hard court specialist. I mean, Medvedev's probably the closest thing, right? Just somebody who, and maybe the Americans. Okay, if we're gonna put a hard court specialist, maybe you could put a lot of the American players on the men's side. You know, maybe somebody like maybe Fritz or Tiafoe, right? Shelton a bit. The guys that struggle on clay. I think that's what it is, right? It's like, well, hard court specialists are the guys that can't play as well on clay. But they're great everywhere else. Like, that's probably as close as you get, right? Is whoever doesn't play well on clay is a hard court specialist. But again, I don't think it's a thing. Hard court specialist is not a thing. I know Fritz is good on grass. That's why it's not a thing. That's why hard court specialist is not a thing. Because usually players that are good on hard courts can play on grass. So then straight away, you can't be a specialist. Because you can play on two surfaces. So, like, it's not a thing. Anyways, I'm going to send you over to the next one. We've got Fonseca coming on. Oof. We love Fons. And he's going to take on Diallo, which should be a very interesting matchup. Last year, Fonzie didn't play great on wasn't great on the clay, the European clay. So good opportunity to get an idea of how he's going to go. And don't worry, we're going to keep up with Tsitsipas as well. We're just not going to watch it. But we are going to keep an eye on Tsitsipas Cerundolo as well. But jump on over here. And we'll be back in about Well, it could be back in like 5 minutes because Lehechka's starting to lift. Hey, Blunted, thank you for the 30 months. But good win by Baez. The crowd was on Stan's side and also history. But unfortunately, for Baez, for Stan, Baez was too good. And he gets a win in straight sets. And now he gets to play Alcaraz. That's the prize. So we'll see that match in a couple of days' time. Baez versus Alcaraz. But next, we've got Fonseca.